Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Tori, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today, we are reading the craziest best of Redditor updates that I could find. We've been covering some really heavy topics lately, and I felt like we needed a break, something silly, something goofy, so I just found some crazy ones that I thought would be fun to read, and here we are. All of these obviously have some sort of update or conclusion, so if you like that and you're kind of into that, that's what we try to do for every single story on here, so you should really subscribe or like or follow or whatever the term is on whatever you are listening or watching on, because that'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think that's pretty much it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Grace Tori, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Me, 25 female, with my fiance, 26 male. He just proposed, and I really hate the ring he picked. What do I do? A bit of background on us, I guess. James and I have been together for 7 years, and a few days ago, he proposed to me. I'm so happy and excited. We've discussed getting married before, but he surprised me out of the blue with an incredible proposal, a treasure hunt that took me places in our town where we'd had important milestones. Where we first met, our first kiss, etc. It was amazing. That is really sweet and really thoughtful. We're so happy, and to be honest, I feel really ungrateful and selfish, but I really hate the ring he chose. It's nothing even close to my style, and it's totally different to any of the jewelry I normally wear. We've discussed our ideal wedding and so on plenty of times, long before we were seriously considering getting married. When he's bought me jewelry in the past, it's always been pretty much exactly my style, and I've never disliked it. The engagement ring is ugly. I love having it on my finger, but I hate the style. I pretty much exclusively wear silver or silver-colored jewelry. This is gold. It's heart-shaped and it feels childish because I haven't worn heart-shaped jewelry since I hit puberty. I really just don't like it. It's not about how big or expensive it is. To be honest, I prefer a smaller stone or a few little ones because this one keeps catching on things. It's just so different to what I would ever pick or wear. It's not a family heirloom. I'd be okay with an ugly but emotionally significant ring. When my friends ask to see the ring, I'm embarrassed. I don't know what to do. I'm so happy to be marrying James, but it feels like he was kind of oblivious to what I would want in a ring. I'm gonna wear this ring for the rest of my life, and it's just plain ugly to me. I don't know if I should just get used to it. After all, the thought is absolutely what counts. I feel horrible for not liking so important, and I'd rather have an ugly ring than hurt his feelings. What should I do? Okay, there's a lot of factors that I consider when thinking about marrying someone. One, the proposal and how much effort they put into it. This is all regarding the wedding, by the way. Like, obviously, the relationship and how he treats you and things like that are a big thing. But things that I personally think matter and are kind of like indicators of a good relationship, and if your man is like gonna treat you right and if it's worth bringing up, all those things, like whether they're big issues or they're smaller ones you can kind of brush off, are these kind of indicators that I'm going to mention. So the first is the proposal. How much effort did they put into it? Because yes, they're proposing, it's their special day, but it's also yours. So it should be a proposal that you like, that you are excited about. Like, I feel like it should be unique to you. Like, some people are fine with a restaurant and proposal or just like a public proposal. And if that's you, then that's you. For me personally, I want it to be unique and specific to me. So like maybe my horse or like some element that makes it unique. It could just be like doing it in nature because you love being outside. It could be that simple. As long as they're thinking about you and putting your unique likes and dislikes, like considering that when they're proposing. How much effort they put into planning that and stuff is a factor for me. And he put a lot of effort into that, so it's a green flag. We got a check mark. Second is the intention behind it. You haven't really discussed the ring, it sounds like. It sounds like you never really told him like what kind of ring you want, unless you're not telling us that part, because you kind of assumed that he would get you a good one. So my boyfriend and I, we're not engaged yet, but I do have like my ring customized, ready to go. And I'm not going to go too much into details about that because I'm not engaged yet. But I will kind of tell you my thoughts on this. Not all men, but most men don't really envision a wedding or an engagement ring for their like soon to be wife, any of that for years and years and years until they hit that point in their life. Women do. I feel like, again, not all men, but generally, more women put a lot of thought into their wedding and their engagement ring and everything in between. And they want it to be exactly how they envision it, or they want it to be a combination of like these things or fall under this theme, or they always expected it to be this color. Those are like non negotiables. Like for me, I knew that I wanted my ring to be unique, completely custom. And so I always recommend, again, not engaged, but we've already done the whole ring thing. I always recommend customizing your ring with your fiance or soon to be fiance or boyfriend or whatever, because you're both involved in the process. And like, yes, it's your ring, but they still get to help with picking it out. They still feel like they have a say. And for me, that's a lot more fun than like ring shopping, because then there's like the pressure to purchase something. And what if you don't like anything at that store? So we customize mine. Again, don't have it yet. Don't know when I'm going to get it. He's in charge of all of that proposal, any of that falls under him, because I feel like the man should plan that and they should think about like you and put effort into that. And that's really important for me, at least, like that my boyfriend puts that effort in and I don't just tell him what I want, because I want to like, I feel like it's a symbol of how much they know you and how much they appreciate you and the effort they put into it. Does that make any sense? I don't know if I'm explaining this the best way. So all that to say, it doesn't sound like he intentionally got you a ring you wouldn't like. So that's another like check mark. It's kind of like a gray area because you didn't really discuss it, and it sounds like you kind of just trusted him, so you never had the conversation. So like he kind of gets the check mark because you didn't do that. But if we find out that you did, then I'm gonna just like take it back. The third thing is the ring that they picked out. So not only whether it has to do with like what you wanted, but what it looks like in general. Like I know people who've gotten rings and their husbands, fiancés, boyfriends have said like, I spent X amount on this ring. Not that they have to tell you how much they spent on the ring, but they have said like I know people who have said, yeah, I spent $3,000 on this ring for you. Like I had to save up and it was this huge elaborate story. And then come to find out it's a costume ring that they got off Temu. Like you guys may not think that that's real. That's real. And that happens all the time. I've seen it happen to so many of my friends. And I don't think any of them are together anymore. But it's the point of the honesty behind it. Like don't lie about the ring. Don't lie where you got it from. Don't lie about what it's made out of. Um, This, like, I don't think he intentionally got you an ugly ring, because that's, like, something, like, you didn't discuss it ahead of time, but also did he intentionally get you an ugly one? Because I've seen or read Reddit stories where they do. Like, guys will get ugly rings or cheap rings to make sure that you're with them because you love them and not because you want a ring. So I have, like, seen that. So it sounds like the reason for an ugly ring is just because he's oblivious, which a lot of men are. Men, don't ever get your girlfriend a heart-shaped jewelry. Most women don't like it. There are a few out there that like it, and they will probably tell you, and in that case, you can avoid my advice, but majority of women don't like heart-shaped jewelry. It looks very costumey. It's very, little kid-ish. It's just not great, which, again, to each their own, but the general consensus, we can only go off data of like generalizations. General consensus is heart-shaped jewelry is tacky, so just avoid that in general. Little things like getting you silver versus gold or gold versus silver, that is kind of annoying, but also like, I don't know, maybe there's a reason behind it. Let's just read the relevant comments and then we'll read the update, but I want to know your guys' thoughts. What do you think? I definitely think if you are not engaged yet and you still have a say, definitely customize it together and then you kind of know what's up. If you are already engaged, I think your best bet is, if everything else is perfect, this is the only thing that's wrong, is to just suck it up and then for like your 5-year wedding anniversary, get like an upgrade or something. But if you really, really are that embarrassed, like you won't even wear it out, you're embarrassed, then you should be able to have that conversation and say, like, I love you so much, but like, what are we thinking here? I'm trying to think of a gentle way to say that because I feel like that would break, like, I'm thinking of my boyfriend, and I feel like that would break his heart if I was like, hey, this is ugly. What are we doing here? I don't know if there's a gentle way to say it that would make it less harmful. You know, I feel like it would hurt no matter what. So, yeah, I'd probably suck it out until the 5 year and be like, hey, 5 year, let's do something fun. I'll do this if you do this, and then we can do that. You know, let's do that. And then kind of suggest it. But let's see what the relevant comments are. And I definitely want you guys to comment down below if you can what you would do in this situation. You should be close enough to be able to tell him this in a gentle manner. If it was me, though, I'd just accept it because the ring is a representation of his love for you in the relationship. See, that's what I meant by the ring and like thinking about all of that, like the proposal. It's all symbolic of your relationship. They said this really well. OOP said, if I did tell him how much I don't like this ring, I know he would be hurt, but he'd understand. I just don't really know if it's worth it. He picked it for a reason, and wearing something ugly isn't that bad. I'm just really conflicted. Part of me is so confused as to how he could get it so wrong when he's always gotten it so right. Part of me thinks it's just a ring. It's nowhere near as important as to what it represents. Some dudes are just oblivious, and some of the stuff Josh gets me is really awesome, and then some of the stuff I'm like, this isn't really my style. Where'd we get that from? Of course, nothing is like as expensive as like an engagement ring though. So yeah. Another comment is, I would first tell him you want to change the rings because of how it keeps getting caught on things. Then maybe suggest that you want to pick a better one together. OOP said that makes sense. It isn't just because it's ugly though. That's mainly why I don't like it. It keeps getting stuck on sweaters and it tangled in my hair when I brushed it earlier. I think that'd be nicer than saying I don't like it. Okay, I do agree that that is a good way to go about it. This is the update from 2 days later. Okay, so some people said to say it was catching on things, and some people told me to outright tell him I didn't like it. I decided to just tell him I didn't like the style and stone and that it wasn't what I wanted. I kept it as light as that kind of discussion can be. He was disappointed I didn't like it, but he said he wasn't surprised. It turns out he'd taken his 17-year-old sister to help him pick out a ring and taken her word for it that this was what an engagement ring should look like. Apparently, he wasn't that sure about the ugly ring in the first place. Okay, that makes sense. Because you know how I said it was very like little kiddish? Very much in line with a 17-year-old. We can return the ring and we're going to get one together. The jewelers he bought it from had said it's okay for us to get a full refund and offered to give us a small discount if we decide to pick another ring from their shop. I don't think the sister is being malicious. The ring is her style, but it's super extravagant. She'd like it and she doesn't know me too well. Okay, yeah, this all makes sense. Like, every single woman is gonna have a different ring that they want. Like, my best friend is married. Love her ring, boots down, but it's not the ring I would get. My ring looks very different than like anything she would get. My sister, her ring looks incredibly different than anything I would get. We all have preferences and it's okay. Like, that's okay. So if you are inviting anyone to help you ring shop, it should be either like their mom or their best friend, because if they're close with their mom, but definitely their best friend, they have given them strict instructions of exactly what they want. I guarantee it. There's like a 99% chance they sent a paragraph of exactly what they want and said, just in case so-and-so asked you what type of ring I want, this is exactly what I want. So you're welcome. There's your cheat code. If you're shopping for your soon-to-be fiance, hopefully, ask her best friend. Edit. I want to say thank you for all the advice in my last post because I couldn't respond to everyone there when it blew up after I went to sleep. I decided what I wanted to do by thinking about the stuff you guys suggested. Even the people who were rude gave me something to think about, and most of your comments factored into my decision. You were all helpful. Thank you. That worked out. There were a lot of ways that could have gone. Honestly, maybe I gave bad advice because if I would have just sucked it up, then I would have had the ugly ring for 5 years and like you just talked it out. So I'm learning. Maybe there's something to that. Moving on. Am I the a-hole for lying to my partner about having kids and laughing about it? So I recently became engaged to my 34 female partner, 35 male. We met on a dating app 3 years ago and hit it off from the start. 5 years ago, I got my fallopian tubes removed. I've known I don't want to give birth since I was 15 years old and have never changed my mind. I've always said that if a child came into my life, I'd love it, but I'm not actively seeking that out. On my dating profile, it explicitly states child-free and infertile verbatim. At the beginning of our relationship, my now fiance regularly referenced other things I put on my profile, so I'd assumed he'd read that part and kids never really came up in other conversations. Last night, he mentioned I should consider stopping my birth control since now we're engaged, and given our ages, we should start trying for kids. I honestly thought he was joking and laughed. He got frustrated and asked me why I thought it was funny, and I reminded him that the second line of my dating profile said I was ostensibly infertile. He was shocked and called me a liar. I happen to remember that I sent a screenshot of my dating profile to a friend for review around that time and pulled up the old combo with her to show him the time and date, and that indeed it stated I was child free. I told him I had my tubes taken out so that there was no chance of me getting pregnant without outside help. IVF is technically still an option, but I don't want to put my body through that. He stormed out and his mom called me crying that I've ruined his life. His sister sent me a long message about how getting my tubes removed should be illegal, how I'm a monster for stringing my fiance along. Oh my goodness. To be honest, his family never really liked me because they think I'm beneath him. A cousin told me it's because I'm fat. Oh my God. True, but I'm also pretty active. Regular walks with my dog, hiking, biking, swimming, paddleboarding, and a little snowshoeing, none of which my fiance does with me. And a career woman in a male-dominated field. Plus, we share the household labor 50-50, and I make more money than he does. Because of this, I don't take what they say too seriously, but I'm starting to feel bad. His family believes I stole years of his life and ruined future chances of being a father by lying about my fertility status. He asked for space when he stormed out, so I haven't reached out to him. I do love him, but I'm starting to have serious second thoughts given his family's reactions. I realize now that we should have talked about this before, but am I the a-hole for how I handled the situation? I understand because at the end of the day, this is a miscommunication. Um, you should have brought it up sooner, even though it was on your dating profile. I don't know if he didn't understand because a lot of men don't understand female reproductive stuff and the way that works. He probably could have assumed that infertile meant on birth control and just never thought about it again because there are men who would think that even though they're not the same thing. Or he saw it and didn't really think about it, like, kinda skimmed over it. He didn't read your profile, he just looked at your pictures and was like, "Yeah, I'm attracted to this woman." Like, there's so many different ways that this could have gone. He could have forgot because he was reading so many profiles and swiping up on so many people, and I know those aren't things that you wanna think about as, like, his fiancé, but there are things that are kind of realistic, like, when he was looking at profiles, you guys weren't dating, so he didn't really owe you anything, so he probably was swiping up on 1,000 girls at once. Like, I hate to think about it like that, but he was single, so he could have not been paying that much attention. That or he intentionally isn't remembering and gaslighting you because he just didn't want it to be true. But I don't know if that would be the case. Like, I don't think he would have started talking to you in the first place if it was that important to him. I'm confused as to why this has never come up. Like, if it was so important to him and so not important to you. Like, not having kids is so important to you. Why has this never there's never been a follow-up? Like, what age do you wanna have kids? Hey, if we get married this, like, that came up the first week Josh and I were dating. Granted, I know without a shadow of a doubt I want kids, so I was not messing around. Like, I was like, if we're gonna date, because 'cause we're talking right now, do you want kids? What do you wanna do as your career? What are your career goals? What do you do for school right now? When do you see yourself graduating? What are your thoughts on marriage? What are your thoughts on religion? Where do you wanna live? Like, these are all questions that everybody should be asking. Maybe not on the first date. It was a little different for us because we just kinda went balls to the wall and, like, moved in together literally, like, our first day that we met because it was like, "Yep, nope, that's my person." So, ma you don't have to be as aggressive, but before you get, like, super duper serious, move in together or anything like that, you definitely should be asking, like, those types of questions. Because there's nothing wrong with someone wanting kids or not wanting kids. There is absolutely nothing wrong with someone having a certain idea for what they want their career to be. But say that you are wanting to be with someone who wants to have a career where they're gonna be gone a lot of the time. Like, for me personally, I'm sorry if this comes off bad, but I don't wanna ever be dating or married to someone who is in the military because I couldn't handle them being away for that long. I don't know if it's my OCD that kind of makes me spiral and my paranoia go a little crazy if I let it, but I would not be able to handle having my partner gone for months at a time. And I know that about myself. I have friends who are like, that is like their dream scenario. They want like the military man. They want to have a million babies. They want to get married like ASAP. Like that is their dream. And I'm like, go off, queen. But for me, I couldn't be with someone who was gone that much and like the stress that comes with it. So when was talking to my boyfriend, he comes from a military family. So I'm like, do you ever see yourself going into the military? No? Okay, then we're good to proceed. That's just one example. You are allowed to have preferences. You are allowed to not be interested in dating someone because they have a certain path that they want to go down. You don't want to live there. Maybe they want to stay in their hometown. You don't want to stay there. Maybe they want to pursue a career that's going to take them in certain directions you don't want to go in. Maybe they don't want kids. Maybe they do want kids. There's nothing wrong with not wanting that for yourself, not picturing that for yourself, and breaking up with them in a nice way, in an adult way, and moving on so that you can find someone who does match those values. Obviously, this can be taken to the extreme just like anything else. So I'm not talking about super picky people who are like, they have to be this height, they have to have this color eyes, they have to have this type of hair, they have to have this job, they have to be making this much minimum, they have to live in this place. Like, obviously, you're probably going to have to compromise somewhere. Like, maybe not. Maybe your dream person's out there, but there are going to be some places where we compromise. So when I am saying, like, it's okay to have a preference, I'm meaning, like, you want kids and they don't. Like, non-negotiable things that are going to affect your happiness and, like, your overall goals for yourself. Don't compromise on those things. Okay? There is nothing wrong with you saying, I want to have kids. You don't. Let's cut this off. That's really important to me. That's a non-negotiable. So that being said, I think that this would have all been avoided, and soft a-hole for not bringing it up sooner to both of you. Both of you kind of are a-holes for that because you did have it on there, but if it's something that's so important, why did we not bring this up sooner? On both ends. Both of you should have communicated about this sooner. Getting the family involved is kind of crazy. We're adults here, so I'm not sure why we did that. And obviously, the things the sister said, not acceptable, not okay. No, I'm a firm believer that you're an adult and your family, your friends, whatever, they can express their opinion in a adult, respectful way. We're not yelling, we're not screaming, we're giving our opinions. But at the end of the day, it's you and your partner's decision when you want to get married, when you want to have kids, when you want to do those things, because it's your family. Like, you two are the ones directly involved. They're going to be your children. And anybody else who has an opinion about whether you want to do that or not is not valid. Like, out to the trash with you. So could she have voiced her opinion? Yeah, but she had how many years to do it? 3? Like, and she could have done it in a respectful way. Like, oh, so-and-so is so excited to have kids. Like, I just can't understand why nobody has brought this up. And again, it's at the end of the day, none of her business. It's not her kid. It's not her marriage. Who cares, like, about her opinion? Yeah, but everybody's kind of an a-hole here. Let's see what the update says. So my fiance came home this morning and I asked him if he wanted to talk. He said there was nothing left to talk about. Oh, I asked if he wanted the ring back and he got angry. I've never seen him like this, and I tried to speak calmly to him, but he was just yelling about how I was giving up and wouldn't even talk to him. I reminded him that I'd ask if he wanted to talk and he said no, to which he responded that he didn't think I'd go all crazy over a disagreement. Okay, this man sounds unstable. I mean, it's okay to be upset and need to take a break, but don't take it out on your fiance, question mark, ex-fiance. Also, I loved how he said that you're just going to give up, but it's like, this isn't something you can compromise on. Like, you already had the surgery and you can't have kids. Like, you could do IVF, but I understand not wanting to do that. It's crazy expensive and it's very traumatic. And I mean, it's, if you're going through IVF, I commend you. You are my thoughts and prayers. Like, you are a warrior, because it is not by any sense easy or like a desirable experience for anyone. So if you really don't even want children and you would just be doing it to make him happy, I would never even think about doing it. This was a huge wake-up call for me. I asked him why he never brought up kids beforehand, and he said that he knew I would get all weird about it. That's not a reason. I tried to get him to clarify, but he just kept saying he couldn't talk to me when I was like this. I swear I never raised my voice and tried to speak calmly the entire time. It sounds like he can't talk when he is feeling the type of way that he is, because you seem pretty calm. Sounds like he's the one who's a little bit emotional and kind of out of control. I told him I can't have kids, nor do I want any. I don't want to give birth. That seems like a deal breaker for him and his family. He said his family had nothing to do with this, and I asked why he told them then. He said because he was hoping they'd talk some sense into me. His family had nothing to do with this. He respects you, but he's going to have his family talk sense. Again, what are they going to say? You can't. Like, you're infertile. I told him I was ending the relationship and staying with my dad for the time being. This didn't go over well. I'm still kind of shaking. As I was leaving, I asked him how long he's wanted kids, and he admitted he never thought about it, but he knew I didn't want any. But now that we're engaged, it wasn't just about me. He had a say in children. That makes no sense. He never brought it up, never thought about it, but now that we're engaged, suddenly he has a say. He's always had a say. He just never voiced it. I told him I physically could not get pregnant without IVF and asked him how he expected that to work. He responded that I didn't know what I was talking about. Oh my God, the man telling the woman she doesn't know how reproductive systems work. This is supposed to be like a lighthearted episode, and I'm over here getting heated. I left after that because I didn't have the energy to try to convince him, and I didn't want to further agitate him. When I told my dad everything, he was furious. Apparently, when my fiance spoke to him about proposing, he did not ask permission. Both my dad and I are opposed to that tradition. Just basically letting my dad know his plans. My dad asked him if he was okay never having kids as I had had my tubes removed. My dad says he specifically brought up my surgery and the impossibility of natural pregnancy. My fiance told my dad that it'd always be my decision. Oh, this man sounds like he just tells people what they want to hear. He's really manipulative and he's just a little man-child, and I don't like him. I'm thankful this happened before we started any of the wedding planning, but it feels like I swallowed a boulder. I know I need to be more adamant in the future about my stance on kids, and I promise I will have these discussions with future partners openly and from the start. I blocked his family from messaging me after they added me to a group message and started throwing Bible verses at me and saying that I'm a defective woman for not wanting kids. I'm like sick to my stomach. I don't have the energy right now to be so petty, so I just blocked them. Good. Oh my gosh. Good riddance. Move on. My dad is going to help me move my stuff the next couple of days. I need to talk to the landlord and figure out the lease. I'm financially stable enough to pay most of the fees, I think, but I doubt my now ex-fiance can afford the rent on his own. The only text I've received from him just said, "You'll regret this." Ooh. I don't believe this is meant as a threat, but I'm being cautious just in case. Yeah, he sounds really unstable, so I definitely would not take that lightly. Thank you for all the feedback. It was helpful to understand where I went wrong. This was my first long-term relationship, and I effed up a lot of the communication, but I know it's not just on me. I tend to be the kind of person that doesn't like to rehash things if I feel like we're on the same page. But with huge decisions like this, reiterating is necessary, and the people are allowed to change their minds, which means rehashing is necessary in a healthy relationship. 100%. And I think that that's hard because there's always going to be the chance that someone changes their mind, and it can be heartbreaking. But you have to just communicate and stay open about it, and that's really all you can do. As long as you're, like, respectful and communicate, you'll figure it out, whether that is with or not with that person. But he clearly was not the one. Like, I think that unless you blatantly stated, like, I do not want kids to him, which it just sounds like you never did, he is going to deny that he ever knew that because he's just manipulative. Even if he did, he's probably going to gaslight you and say that he didn't know or he doesn't remember or you never said it. So let's read the update. There is a new update from February 9th, 2026, which is 2.5 years later. Hi. So I completely forgot about this account until recently and figured I'd give an update since the story got both crazier and then a bit anticlimactic, and a few people have asked. I'm going to have fake names so it's easier. Ex-fiance is Josh. His sister will be Jill. Not to be confused with me, Grace is Josh. I saw that. I said, uh-oh, we're in for a ride. Moving out was pretty easy. Josh wasn't around, but I did find a few things in odd places that I suspect was intentional to make me leave them behind. It was quiet for about a week, but then I got called into an impromptu work meeting. My company is fairly small, and I'm in the upper level of the admin team, so it's not totally uncommon to get meetings with the two owners, a married couple. When I logged on, it turned out to be a coaching combo to address my use of company resources for personal matters. Apparently, Jill had found the company phone number and had been calling the number attempting to get through to me or my supervisor, but the third-party company we used to manage that phone number didn't have my contact or even really know who I was because my position isn't client-facing. That's insane. I'm usually pretty good under pressure, but I really didn't want to lose my job, so I ended up crying and spilling the whole story to my bosses. Turns out they're both intentionally child-free as well, and we're incredibly supportive. One of them is a retired Navy, and he asked multiple times if he should pay them a personal visit, but his wife just rolled her eyes and told him that we would be Plan X after all the others failed. Long story short, I ended up finding an attorney who helped me navigate a protective order. Good. Jill didn't handle this well and tried to sue me for damages with Josh and their mom. What damages? It took it a year to actually make it to court, and to no one's surprise, the suit was dismissed. The judge was very displeased by the waste of court resources. I was granted a restraining order for Josh, Jill, and their mom after I presented the evidence of harassment as well as a notarized statement from my company. We also had recordings from the company phone calls, but the judge didn't need them, apparently. I blocked all of them and have no idea what's happening with them now, but they have thankfully left me alone. My dad was really happy to have me as a roommate. I think he'd been lonely, lol. So I've just stayed with him and split his bills. My dog has always loved my dad, so she's in heaven. I haven't really been dating, but I've been taking mixed martial arts classes recently. I just finished a year of ice skating classes. I'm enjoying having some more free time and perfectly content in being single right now. I know now that there were a lot of things I let slide about Josh and his family that should have been deal breakers, and I think I would have figured it out sooner than later, but I'm still trying to relearn to trust myself. Until then, I'm not in any hurry to date anyone new. Thank you to everyone who commented and offered perspective. It really helped. My best friend and her husband had a fun time going through them all with me. LOL. I'm so glad that you are taking the time to hang out, do your own thing, like you're not in a rush. You sound like you're just happy, and I love that for you. I'm glad you nipped that in the bud with the restraining order and it didn't escalate after that, because sometimes I know it can if they're extra crazy. So I really love that for you. Don't be too hard on yourself. I think that a lot of people who are a little bit older tend to feel like they should know better. Like, you were 34 in the original one, and you're still like on this earth for the first time, just like everybody else. That was your first long-term relationship, so you wouldn't have known. I think that it's important to give yourself grace. I know for me, like, there's things that I feel like I should know, but I don't know, like taxes or when we were buying a house. I'm like, I should know this, but you won't know it till you go through it. So be kind to yourself. It sounds like you're happy. It sounds like you're doing all the things, and I'm really happy for you. Happy for how this ended. Top comment says, it sounds like Josh didn't understand what a fallopian tube was and didn't realize that they couldn't be regrown at will. This though, I guarantee that he just has no idea how the female reproductive system works, and I doubt that his family does either, because I'm saying this with all the love in the world. I grew up in a Christian household. I went to a Southern Baptist high school. We did not really learn anything about the reproductive system. It was just pushed on us to be abstinent until marriage. Like, that was it. Didn't know much. I literally learned about how female hormones work in college when I was in my equine classes. Like, I was learning about female horses, and that's how I learned what hormones are in my body and like how they work and like how a uterus works. So from my experience, I can only speak for mine. When you are more like Christian, religious, you're not taught that anything like that. And I think that's a common thing. All of my friends who are religious all say we needed better sex education than what we got. You're not getting it at home. You're not getting it at school. You're just not going to get it until you eventually figure it out on your own. So I guarantee that he doesn't have much. The sister definitely doesn't have any. And the mom, honestly, probably doesn't either. So, not surprised. Again, that's more of an assumption, but I think we're going to do one more. I have no idea how long this is going to be because I kept having to like pause it. So if it's on the shorter side, my bad. But I, 28 female, found out my boyfriend, 41 male, has been requesting cash back on my debit card. I don't know where to start. I just found out my boyfriend has been getting cash back on my debit card without my knowledge. A little background. We live together. He doesn't have an income. He gets fired from jobs quickly for no-shows, arguing with supervisor and coworkers. He has worked a total of 6 weeks since 2021. Money is getting tight. Why are you with this man-child? Man-child, I guess, is today's theme. maybe not all the way. The first guy wasn't bad, but these last two are doozies. If he's not providing for himself, he's definitely not going to provide for you. Guys who I know guys who quit from jobs all the time or get fired. And typically the ones who do, you can tell when it's because they're a shitty person or when it's because they're doing their best and shit's not working out. This man, if I had to guess, is getting fired because he's lazy or he's just not like a hard worker. Because no shows, arguing with supervisors, like it's all right there. Girlie, leave this man. Why? That's all we need to read. We got it. We're good. But yeah, I'm not surprised that money's getting tight. I don't know where you live, but I heard the other day, and this is obviously going to vary by the cost of living. I heard that in order to comfortably live on a single income household, so like just you for just your bills, just your utilities, your food, you need to be making $90,000 a year, which yeah, that feels about right to be living comfortably. So you're on a single income household. You have been for 5 years now, half a decade that this man has been playing games. Okay, let that sink in. Let's think about that. Obviously, money is going to get tight because unless you are making 6 figures and above, then you're probably just not going to happen. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, you're not going to be able to make ends meet. And that's no fault of your own. It's the fault of the man-child that is living in your house. I noticed that the charges from the grocery store were getting higher. I asked him about the charges and for the receipt. He would get defensive and call me names, walk away, lock himself in his car, and accuse me of being insane. Every disagreement ended with him blocking me on social media, and he changes his relationship status to it's complicated or single. Oh, this man is repulsive. I'm not even going to call him a man. This child is repulsive. It makes me feel insecure. I apologize and try not to think about it. Bessie, that's like not okay. I'm not allowed to say the word on here, and I really try not to talk about it because I don't want you guys to think that I'm like trying to belittle this word or make it less serious than it is, because I am someone who has been in this type of relationship and I never want anyone to feel that way. It's just sometimes I do have to censor things for the internet or the video will get taken down and like that's not great. That's not fun. So the word I'm going to use is obtuse, but I bet you know what that means. It's a word that sounds very similar to that. And this is that. This is very much that. Bestie, I don't think that you realize that. How old are we? She's 28 and the boyfriend's 41. Okay, yep. There we go again. You guys know that I firmly believe if an older man is with a girl in her 20s, usually it's because the girls his age or the women his age don't want to put up with him. And so he goes to younger women who are naive. And you guys have been together for a long time. So this is making it, it's all coming together. She really apologizes to this man. She says, I apologize and try not to think about it. For him hurting your feeling. We're going to keep reading. Last week, he asked to use my debit card to get drinks and snacks. He came back with 2 fountain drinks. My card was charged over $28. I asked him about it. He said that he didn't owe me an explanation for a stupid question. Oh my God, he's spending your money. A few hours later, he had a change of heart. He told me that the self-checkout wasn't working and the cashier did the transaction. I emailed the store and asked for a receipt. It showed that there was a $20 cashback withdrawal and the transaction was done at the self-checkout. I reached out to the other stores and requested receipts. All show cash withdrawals. So far, there's a total of over $200. I haven't confronted him. I don't know how to bring it up. He has a really bad temper. This is the first time I have evidence of his betrayal. You need to leave this man. Girl, you don't need more evidence. This is crazy. This is insane. I know someone who does this with his mom's credit card, and we're no longer friends with this man. But yeah, they exist in real life. Like, a lot of times I read these Reddit stories and I'm like, oh my God, these are horrible people. They're making me nauseous. They're so disgusting. And then I'm like, there's no way these people exist. But in this case, I know someone who does this with his mom's credit card and he feels no remorse and he's a shitty person. I do not like this person, guys. I am one of the nicest people to you as long as you're a nice person. But the second that you do something so shitty, like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. We're not doing second, third chances. You're out. I am so serious about that. I am very, very careful about the people that I allow into my life because I don't want to put up with it. Like, we're too grown for this. We're not acting like children. Also, I'm pretty sure that a, like, 4-year-old would know that this is wrong. Maybe even a 2-year-old. So, top comment, someone quoted the "we live together, he doesn't work" situation and said, "Why are you still with him?" And then they also quoted the "he would get defensive, blocking on socials," that whole section, and said, "No, again, why in the world are you still with this guy?" And then she quoted the part about where he said he didn't owe her an explanation and said, "OMG, why are you with him?" So, yeah, we're all feeling this. There is an update though. Thank goodness. There's multiple updates actually. So, the next two updates are almost the same. One was deleted and reposted, but both have info the other doesn't, so I put them here for the full picture. So, I'm going to try and jump around. I'll read the first one, and then the second one I'll skim through the parts that we already know and just give the new info. So this first one is from 11 days later, or April 17th, 2026. I want to thank everyone for their comments. The comments were eye-opening. I realized that I've been completely brainwashed, stripped of my identity, divinity, and common sense. In my desperation to keep the peace, I ignored every flag. I feel so badly for you. Like, I want to give you a hug, and I want to tell you everything's going to be okay because you typed that out, read it, didn't think anything was wrong, and posted it. Like, you have to have been through some things, and for that, I am so sorry. I waited for him to fall asleep. I wanted answers without the gaslighting. I unlocked and snooped through his phone. Not my proudest moment. He's active on multiple dating sites, has a Facebook page using an alias, and is talking to multiple women. These messages are crazy. He told slightly different stories to different women about his living situation and income. I found messages between him and his exes. He told them that I'm insecure, controlling, insane, jealous of every female regardless of age or appearance, a gold digger, that's actually crazy, and wants out of the situation. He called me some really bad slurs for being Hispanic, and then fat and ugly and disgusting. So he's the worst. I hate that. These women sympathized with him. One woman is recently divorced and waiting for her house to close. She invited him to stay with her and get away from the insane illegal. Okay, this is disgusting. He convinced these women that he is unemployed because I'm too insecure to let him work. Guys, I don't agree with this behavior, and I want you guys to know that just because I'm reading it, don't agree with it. This is wrong, and if you have friends that act like this, these are not the type of people you should be around. You definitely should not be acting like this. This man and the women he is talking to they are the disgusting ones, and I hope that you guys know that. If you didn't catch that already, if you weren't able to pick that up, I'm going to tell you straight on, disgusting behavior. Some of his messages were diabolical. He made a joke of my emotional pain. He enjoyed watching and listening to me beg for basic affection and time together. He said, I would never give in to another slur, very creative one. Let the B word beg the white man like the lowlife she is. Oh, so he's the worst. He laughed about making me pay him for affection. It makes sense. He was nice or affectionate when he wanted something. There were messages about him withdrawing money from my debit card. He didn't consider it stealing because he should be paid for typing the fat, disgusting slur. His married ex-girlfriend from 2012 told him that she would leave her husband for him. Yet she doesn't have a job either. She was encouraging him to make the ugly, disgusting B-word pay. He told these women that he would never mistreat a white woman. These are the worst type of men. Send him to hell, okay? We need to dig a deep enough hole that we can just fucking drop him into the earth's core because he's gotta go. Like, there is not a prison cell dirty enough and disgusting enough for him. He deserves the worst. Nothing but the worst. He used my Hispanic background, I was born in California, and alleged insecurity to justify his lack of financial contribution and targeted cruelty. He called me ugly, fat, nasty, slur, welfare slur. Those might not be slurs. I don't know. I don't speak like this. So, like, this is so bad. I don't even know what half of these mean. And I kind of want to keep it that way. Like, I don't need to know what these mean or have this anywhere near me because this is disgusting behavior from this man. I've never received public assistance and I'm average weight. I can't believe there's women who find this okay. I feel so bad. I snooped in the closet and I found a syringe and a skull. I'm guessing that that's a certain type of candy, like the one that you typically use a syringe for, but I don't know. I almost passed out. Now I know why he needed cash. I feel disgusted and scared. He shoots up the one that starts with an M. Not good. Street candy. I made an appointment for HIV and STI testing. I'm scared to death. Those racists can keep the junkie. I'm not going to reach out to these women. They are evil enough to entertain a man who admits to cruelty and racism, then they can figure it out later. I can't believe that man made a game of my pain. I didn't confront him. I secretly got my valuables out of the apartment. He didn't care or notice that I've been distant. I don't say much. He's happier because I haven't been, quote unquote, disturbing his peace in alone time. I guess he hated me for being Hispanic. He'll be getting a 30-day notice today. My property management is taking responsibility. Needless to say, staying is not an option. Finding those cashback withdrawals and posting on Reddit are the best things that ever happened to me. Oh my gosh. I hope that there is an update on, like, you getting out, because until you are out, I'm gonna be worried about you, because this is so scary. I'm so sorry you had to be subjected to this. I'm apologizing on behalf of humanity that these type of people exist. So disgusted. I just don't have words. Like, guys, I keep telling myself, like, karma's gonna take care of it. Karma's gonna take care of it. This man is about to be homeless and not have a job. Karma's gonna take care of it. But there are some people where it's just like, can karma hurry up and take it? Like, hurry up and do their thing. Please. Please. So, okay, so we're gonna read the update and I'm gonna skim through and find the things that we haven't already known, basically. He admitted to purposely mentally tearing me down when speaking to women on dating apps. He made comments about my ethnicity and appearance. He justified stealing. According to him, I should be grateful that a good-looking guy like him would teach me, and the money he took from my debit card was below what he deserved for degrading himself. Okay. Goodness. It's the entitlement on top of everything else. Like, why does this man think that he is lined in gold? Like, he is the salt of the earth. I guarantee he's one of those people who think that simply because he is a white man, he is the best thing to ever happen, when no, you are quite literally most people's worst nightmare. Okay. To everyone who mentioned he's been stealing cash, yes, he's been requesting cash back since 2022 when I first gave him my debit card. He would draw up to $60 on single large purchases. I worked 50 plus hours a week. I thought I could trust my partner to run errands. I was able to get more receipts. He stole $300 last month alone. That's what I could prove. He was given a 30-day notice by the apartment property management. He changed his relationship status to "it's complicated" and threatened to change it to "single" if I don't find him another place before the 30 days. I'm sorry. He really threatened that? Sir, don't let me stop you. Can you go ahead? Like, go ahead. He said that he has standards and refuses to be with a homeless B-word. He plans on staying with a friend, so I better find a place. Oh my, this is insane. This is equivalent to a tantrum, but most child, like, tantrums, they would know better than to act like this. This is crazy. He had demands for the next place. At least 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage, front yard, and backyard in a good area. I smiled and said, "Okay, I'll try." I'm not trying anything. I'm going home to my dad's house. Well, maybe his female friends could help him out. I'm not reaching out to those women to warn them. They will figure it out when 6 months have passed, he hasn't got a job, and they have to fight for the bathroom. Yes, he's still locking himself in the bathroom. I'm assuming he's on the dating apps or dehumanizing me to his friends. I let him use my debit card because I really did believe that we were a team. I didn't think that a partner would steal from me and lie to my face. I didn't snoop before because I believed that he was right. I shouldn't be violating his privacy. He convinced me that his conversation with friends and how what he spent money on was none of my business. He's right. The relationship is going to be very complicated between him and my debit card. I didn't confront him about anything. It's better for him to believe that he's doing a great job hiding his second online bathroom life. And that is the most recent update. The top comment says, "I hope she's safe." The guy sounds unhinged. I really hope she is. I'm glad she's moving in with her dad so that, to a guy who clearly believes that like gender stereotypes and things are a big thing. Maybe living with a man will deter him, probably not. But at least she kind of has that safety. Ugh, she saved, I mean, this is the best thing that could ever happen to her. She was going into a life of horrible, horrible situations and sadness. And I honestly truly hope that this man ends up with one of those women who said one of the horrible, racist, disgusting things, because they deserve each other. And then they deserve to go down and not be able to pay their bills and only the worst things to happen to them. They were made for each other. So I think that karma will make a difference. This was posted on April 18th, 2026, so there's definitely 30 days left, so he's probably still living in that apartment, but count your days, buddy, because karma's coming for you. But yeah, that is the last one. I always say these are going to be so light, and then I end with, like, something kind of really intense, so I apologize for that. This one did get a little kooky crazy. Definitely unhinged, definitely crash out, but in, like, a scary way, not in, like, a hee hee ha ha way. So I hope that you are safe, bestie. If any of you watching or listening are in a similar situation, get out, please. I know it's easier said than done, but I hope that this was eye-opening in some way, and you're like, "What the heck? This man is a piece of trash. I am amazing. I deserve so much better," because you do. All jokes aside, like, you are amazing, and no person deserves to be treated this way. We all should be treated with basic respect. We all should be able to treat each other kindly and have adult conversations. There shouldn't be yelling. There shouldn't be gaslighting. There should not be manipulation. I know that we're all learning, and there's going to be times when we have a bad day. Maybe we raise our voice a little, and that's normal. Like, to have fights and stuff, that's normal. We learn from that. We grow. But if you're with someone who that is like their default and they constantly do that and they just are not learning and growing, then that's not the type of person you want to be with. I promise you. That is pretty much it, though. I'm gonna get off my high horse, and I don't know, I think I'm gonna go lay in my hammock. It's been really nice out. I've been doing yard work, which is why I'm in, like, outside clothes. I don't know. I've been doing things. But yeah, I love you guys so, so much. Thank you so much for listening, watching, being around. Don't forget to leave your opinions on anything, everything, whatever. You can just tell me about your day. I love to talk to you guys. Literally, nothing makes me happier than when my videos go live because I schedule them ahead of time. So I like literally count down the minutes throughout the day until they go down. And then I like take a break from work so that I can just like respond to your messages. And then every time one pops up, I get so, so excited because you guys make me so happy. Like, I love you and I love this community and I get so happy and so excited to talk to you. I don't take a single one of you for granted. I appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, if you like stories, Reddit stories, stories where we kind of reflect, we kind of like hee hee ha ha, but we also try and like learn from these, then you're in the right place. I consider myself a nosy bystander. I like hearing about the tea without being in it. Like, don't confront me. Don't yell at me. I don't like that. But I would still want to hear about it, you know? Like, I'm going to watch from the sidelines. So if that's you, then go ahead and follow. What are you doing, Bessie? Like, I upload every Wednesday and Sunday. But yeah, I think that's it. I will catch you guys later. I hope you have a great week. And yeah, love you. Bye.